see me with it. See me with it.
Drinking Kool-Aid cameras like I did when I was 9. Cause I like to pretend that I haven't lost the time. In the end, the nostalgia, though it tastes fine, I can only drink a couple cause it feels like a lie. We'd play Halo and we'd lay low in our basement until the sun began to rise. We would go to school but not learn too much, cause it's hard to read when you've got tired eyes. Months go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime. Years go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime. They've been with me for some time, and it's nice to know that they still by my side. Friends are like stars, cause no matter how far, when it's dark outside, they will be your light. We'd play Halo, and we'd lay low in our basement until the sun began to rise. We would go to school but not learn too much, cause it's hard to read when you've got tired eyes. Months go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime. Years go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime. get too hazy. We laugh a little much, yeah, we think we're all grown up. You can call us when you're scared. I should've been a skater, maybe a heartbreaker, some kind of creator, simple money maker. I'm just a simple money maker. Time passing me by, I'm cold but it's July, and I know that my disguise will melt off in a sunrise. And I know that it's designed for the sun to make me shine, but it feels like this time that my heart's been mummified. And I won't make it to the night. They tell me I'm too young to be thinking like this. Got my life ahead of me, but feel like it's in abyss. Like my life left for a mistress. Call me back, I must have missed it. I should've been a skater, maybe a heartbreaker, some kind of creator, simple money maker. I'm just a simple money maker.
I think I can fix myself if I write rhymes, but I'm lying to myself, and I know that it's a sign that the more I try to sing and the more I ink it down, I get further in my head, and the ink it makes me drown. All these words I put on paper, they become my traitor, saying I'm a failure. Fuck was my eraser. I left it at my neighbor's. This pain is in my nature. At my 9 to 5. Man, I don't feel alive. From the suburbs where I drive, feel like 25 to life. I should've been a skater, maybe a heartbreaker, some kind of creator, simple money maker. I'm just a simple money maker. I should've been a skater, maybe a heartbreaker, some kind of creator, simple money maker. I'm just a simple money maker. Mom, today sucked, I'm not feeling great. People all laughed and they call me names. Why's it so tough and the world so lame? Can I have some cash and a ride down to the arcade? This morning blue, I stayed up till 2. People stare at me like I'm trapped in a zoo. Why's it so tough and the world so lame? Can I have some cash and a ride down to the arcade? Some cash and a ride down to the arcade. Can I have some cash and a ride down to the arcade? Can I have some cash and a ride down to the arcade? Trust, do I look too much? Why's it so tough and the world so lame? Can I have some cash and a ride down to the arcade? This evening blue had nothing to do but lay around with my thoughts of you. Why's it so tough and the world so lame? Can I have some cash and a ride down to the arcade? Some cash and a ride down to
We could pack our bags tomorrow, leave all of our sorrows, see where all this road goes, maybe San Diego. Maybe San Diego. Roll down all our windows, just see where the wind blows, one leg out the window, sit like a flamenco. Sit like a flamenco. You can run and you can hide, you can look and try to find, take a breath, open your mind, take it one ride at a time. Where did all our time go? Where we are, no one knows. Maybe San Francisco. Maybe San Francisco. We could roll down all our windows, just see where the wind blows, one leg out the window, sit like a flamenco. Sit like a flamenco. You can run, you can hide, you can look and try to find, take a breath, open your mind, take it one day at a time. You can run and you can hide, you can look and try to find, take a breath, it'll all be fine, take it one ride at a time. Don't you know that I'll be here for you till we got nothing left to do? Tell a couple jokes and enjoy the view. I'll be here for you. Don't you know that I'll be here for you till we got nothing left to prove? Write it down in ink, I'm a drunk tattoo, always here with you. Don't you know that I'll be there for you wherever you go? I'm a guarantee like Curry's 3 in Harlem Street. So whenever you're lost, I'm blue up on some cruise to see see you soon. And when the show ends, the credits roll with our tune. The piano's out of tune, but I'll play it for you, so we can have stuff to do in the afternoon. I'll be here for you, yeah, I'll do it with you. I'll stick till it's through, yeah, you know that it's true. Sometimes we laugh and sometimes we cry. Sometimes we get drunk and buy shit that we find online. I'll be here for you, yeah, I'll do it with you. I'll stick till it's through, yeah, you know that it's true. Don't you know that I'll be here for you till we got nothing left to do? Tell a couple jokes and enjoy the view. I'll be here for you. Don't you know that I'll be here for you till we got nothing left to prove? Write it down in ink, I'm a drunk tattoo, always here with you. Call me fast, I drive down in a flash. 2 hands on the whip, won't crash. Changing lanes so quick, whiplash. Twist and turn so drastic, life feels like a Tarantino. Don't know where it ends, moving dice, a casino. The piano's out of tune, but I'll play it for you, so we can have stuff to do in the afternoon. I'll be here for you, yeah, I'll do it with you. I'll stick till it's through, yeah, you know that it's true. Sometimes we laugh and sometimes we cry, and sometimes we get drunk and buy shit that we find online. I'll be here for you, yeah, I'll do it with you. I'll stick till it's through, yeah, you know that it's true. Don't you know that I'll be here for you till we got nothing left to do? Tell a couple jokes and enjoy the view. I'll be here for you. Don't you know that I'll be here for you till we got nothing left to prove? Write it down in ink, I'm a drunk tattoo, always here with you.
I have to stop going back to you. Back to you. Back to you. Back to you.
I have to stop going back to you. Back to you. Back to you. Back to you.
To you, to you, to you, back to you. I have to stop going back to you, to you, to you, back to you. I have to stop going back to you, to you, to you.
What is up, LvLUp Nation, and welcome to the Monday, November 23rd edition of LvLUp Live, your home for gaming and esports news, brought to you by OTN Media. My name is Fiasco. You can call me John. That dude, not directly to my side, he's kind of in the upper corner now because we had to move him around a little bit, is the king of the court side, Joey. What's up, buddy?
John, I am doing well, but I am not the only one on the show. Who's with us today, John?
You are not on the other upper end corner, depending on how you're looking at it. He's right up here. That is the head coach of the Season 3 champions, Wizards District Gaming of the NBA 2K League. That is head coach Pat Crossan. Pat, thank you so much for joining us today.
Guys, it's always a pleasure to have been on. You were the first one to have me on your podcast right before I got hired, or right after I got hired. And now, after winning the championship, glad to be back on.
Yeah, it feels like I feel like we snagged you pretty quick. I feel like the announcement happened and we were already bugging Grant to get you on the show. back when Grant was with MSC, of course, Grant Paranjape now with the Washington Justice. So, Pat, it's always great to have you back on the show, and I can't wait to dive into this. But first, we got a little housekeeping we got to do here real quick. And, of course, we have to remind LvLUp Nation to follow the show here on Twitch and our other social medias as well. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at LvLUp Live, at LvLUP Live. Make sure you give Joey a follow on Twitter. Make sure you give myself a follow on Twitter as well. And make sure you give Pat Crossan a follow on Twitter and WizDG. If you're not doing so already, if you're not following the champs, you're doing something wrong in life. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's as simple as that. And Nation, if you do wish to listen to the podcast version of the show, LvLUp Podcast is available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. So if you want to re-listen to this episode later on down the road, you can catch the VOD here live on Twitch, or you can listen to the audio version as well on those platforms. All right, Joey. So I guess the worst kept secret in esport podcasting history is already out there. Pat's on the show today. But there are going to be some areas that we're going to be touching on. What are we talking about today on episode, what is this, 207, the 23rd of November, the episode before Thanksgiving?
Episode 207, and we are giving thanks for having Pat on. We're going to talk about NBA 2K. We're going to dive into WizDG and that Season 3 run to that championship, looking ahead to the offseason and how they're approaching Season 4, USA Basketball Gaming, and much more.
All right. So, Pat, you're going to have the honor of being the first guest to do this with us. We tried extending this with other people, and they refused to. So we're going to throw you on here. You can pass if you want. I'm just going to warn you, chat can be a little feisty, especially if you give a really bad answer to this. So it's our drink of choice segment. It's just essentially the beverage that's going to help us out through the whole episode to help us, we're just have a good time here. Joey, I'm going to let you go first. So if you let us down early, then you make the rest of us look good. Joey, what is your beverage for today's episode?
Not letting you guys down today. I'm back to the bourbon. We're going Woodford Reserve after my little train of 3 or 4 beers in a row. I'm now back to bourbon, and I'm feeling good.
Absolutely fantastic, Joey. It was great last episode. I'm going to do it again. My twist on adult lemonade. So it is lemonade with Bacardi lemon rum. We're mixing that bad boy up. We're going to have a fantastic time. Pat, P. Cross, my man, head coach of WizDG.
You're setting me up. I'm getting set up here.
Pat Crossan, if you would like to participate in the drink of choice, what's up?
The drink of choice right now, I don't know who your sponsor is, but keep it blocked. So, you got to keep your options open, right?
Absolutely.
It's water.
Ooh.
I mean, a little H2O.
A little H2O action. You got to stay
it's
healthy out there.
I'm trying to cut out all that sugary carb stuff right now. So I just got to keep it water. But if I had to choose, ice cold Bud Light.
I called it. I so called that. It's a proud sponsor of WizDG, of course. Go ahead.
We love Bud Light, and they gave us a lot of free Bud Light in our practice studio. You guys have seen the fridge; it's beautiful. I have the key to it, so I really have all the power. And all the players who are over 21, if we win, they get 1 beer. That's how it is.
1 beer.
1 beer.
1 beer per win.
Just one, because that fridge is not that big, so we gotta ration the fridge.
All right. So obviously, guys, thanks for everyone for joining LvLUp Live here. Really awesome to have Pat on. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to start. It's not going to be like a formal interview. This is going to be more of a conversation, just more laid back. But I do want to start with the most recent news real quick. Obviously, we're in the off season. You're coming off a fantastic season in the NBA 2K League, winning the championship. You retained 3 players from the get-go, and you just announced your 4th retention from that championship squad. So now 4 of 6 are returning to WizDG, and that recent announcement was just awkward, which I'm not going to lie. I love me some JBM, some Nudini, some Dayfry, but I got absolutely terrified when I did not see Just Awkward announced in that initial group. And I'm just like, whoever gets this guy is going to have a massive steal. So I breathed a sigh of relief that Just Awkward was announced that he is going to be coming back to WizDG. Take us a little bit through that process. What was it to bring him back, and what does he mean to this squad?
Yeah, so I mean, look, no one feels sorry for us or feels bad for us because we won the championship. It's just the way the league is set up. You're probably going to lose a couple of guys, and especially when you're the championship team. I'd rather keep everybody if I could. It's just that we can't. So, we had a lot of meetings about it, and we kind of went over, what made our season successful. Not that one guy probably made, our season successful over another, but we did feel like defense was a big characteristic of who we are. And if you look at the statistics, we're leading almost every defensive category in the league. And he just happens to play lockdown, so we felt, it was the best choice to pick Justin and to retain him after the not knowing if there was going to be expansion team or not. Luckily, there were not, so we didn't have a chance to lose him to expansion team. But we got him back. We got our stud lockdown back. Obviously, he plays with Ryan in the pick and roll, day fry, so they have really good chemistry together. And I couldn't be happier. We got 4 out of 6 from our championship team back, so that's always a good spot.
So obviously, I guess the next question is, you have 2 roster spots to fill going into the draft here, with a very solid core of 4 outstanding players. Dayfire, obviously an absolute stud down low. JBM, the number 1 overall pick last year. How do you prepare for a draft? Last year, you had the number 1 pick. This year, in the first round, you have the last pick.
Yeah, it's kind of unique in that, last year we had to draft 4 players. We kept Dave Fry and Reese from the previous season, and we had to draft 4 new players. This year we only have to draft 2. So a lot of what I'm doing is probably not as involved, but still we want to hit on those picks that we get. It's no kind of secret. We could tell everyone in the chat that we would love to bring Reese back and bring Brandon back, but we don't want to be naive and say that they're champions now. Other teams might want them as well. So, if we can get our guys back, we would love to do that. And if we can't, then we're going to have to find, maybe some new blood to come in here and kind of give a shot to the team.
So, is there anything that you're looking for to fill in those roles? Obviously Reese, who has been with the team since season 1, has been, there season 1, season 2, season 3. You have, B Rich, who filled in that 6-man role and did it quite well. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the last time I saw him play was in the spring 16 in the preseason tournament, but behind the scenes, he was a real part of that group that really helped strategize and help motivate the team and was there in case he was needed. He played a very pivotal role just from a chemistry standpoint in that championship squad.
Yeah, so I can talk about, B Rich a little bit, and obviously played in the spring 16. So he actually played in the first couple of games in the season. I think we were mixing up lineups like the first week or 2, and really, it was between Justin, Deanie, and Brandon. Those guys were fighting for kind of the last spot. We were rotating them in and out, and Brandon was right there with them. So really, I love that friendly competition where it was just like, if one guy messed up, then Brandon or Deanie or Justin, whoever was right behind him sitting on the bench maybe for that practice, they were right there trying to get in the starter spot. So we kind of had that friendly competition to start the season, and I think that propelled us. And guys really, they couldn't take a day off because they knew that Brandon was just as capable of coming in and playing well if we needed him to. So he played those couple of games, and he played the last game versus Sixers because I think at that point we were already locked into our playoff spot. So standing wise, it wasn't going to do anything for us, but we wanted to give him a look, just to play him for that last game, and even then, it could kind of keep him ready if we needed him for playoffs. So that 6-man spot, sometimes you don't always see those guys, but behind the scenes, they're huge. A huge need for teams who are going to make championship runs.
So Pat, let's just assume Brandon goes earlier in the draft and you guys don't have another shot at him. If that ends up being the case, what type of player do you look for as that 6-man in a team?
Yeah, so I like versatility because we have, our guys, are pretty locked in their spots. Obviously, Jack, JBM is our point guard. Dave Fry's our center. Justin's our lockdown. Deanie can kind of play wherever, so we're kind of lucky in that he's versatile. He's played at a different position each year in the 2K League, so it's kind of unique for him. So if we need be, we can move guys around and shuffle them. But for 6-man, I definitely feel like you need to be able to play at least, I'd say a minimum of 3 positions just to give you a chance to kind of, get in the lineup if someone isn't performing. And low ego, that's like a coach's dream. So low ego and a guy who understands, if the best lineup is out there and you're on the bench, then they're going to be fine with that. And obviously Brandon saw that last year, and he wanted to play, but our best shot was with the lineup that was starting. So, he didn't cause a stink at all, and he just gelled with the guys seamlessly.
And that kind of transitioned us to you filling that starting spot as well. So with the starter, you're obviously looking for a few different things. You want someone who's very talented on the virtual court, but what other qualities do you look for in an esport athlete that you guys are considering?
Yeah. So I've kind of noticed this theme, at least in our league, because it's comes from a traditional sport, basketball, kind of different than like League of Legends. You never grew up playing League of Legends outside, right, in your backyard. So I've kind of noticed that our league takes a lot of our esports players that were former, athletes at some point, whether it was in high school or college. You look at a guy like Ryan Day Fry, he played college baseball. Jack was a really good tennis player in high school. He had a couple injuries, same thing with Ryan. So unfortunately they couldn't continue their careers, but they picked up the game, became very good at it. Obviously, they knew basketball because they had played growing up, but you don't have to necessarily play basketball to be really good at 2K. There are some things that help you, to understand the game a little bit better, but we can teach those, so it's not a big deal. So I love to pick players who have kind of understanding and they've been in a team atmosphere before growing up, whether it's high school or college or even middle school. Some players have just played in middle school. But they kind of are used to playing with each other all day and, being in person and kind of having that team camaraderie that you look for.
Yeah, real life League of Legends. I don't know about you, Joey, but I would not feel confident in that whatsoever. I'm pretty bronzy when it comes to.
I mean, I barely feel confident in the real thing.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I'm not. I try to stay off the rift as much as possible.
I haven't played League probably in like 6-7 years. Probably back when I was in college. So I had to take. I played my last game and I got the crap kicked out of me, so to say. And I said, all right, I'm hanging up my League of Legends.
You can't go out on a loss. You got to go out with a win.
But like when you're old, it's like Kobe Bryant. When he was towards the end of his career, he could still hoop. Don't get me wrong, but
he dropped 60 points in his final game.
All right, he took like 59 shots to get there, but
he still dropped 60 though.
It's impressive. I'm not saying it's not, but you need to know when to hang it up. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's fair.
What role did you play in League, Pat?
I played. I love playing as Draven, so I love playing ADC.
A good old Tyler 1.
The Tyler 1 of the NBA 2K League.
I was toxic. That was back before he wasn't nerfed back then. So
he wasn't reformed yet.
Yes. It's so funny because I just love playing with him. It's just I kind of miss it because like we would have all of our college, but I lived in a house with 8 guys, so including myself. So we would just all be in the living room with our laptops or computers, and we'd all just be playing League. So it was a fun time.
Good old LAN party days, you know. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Okay, so I kind of want to take a glimpse at like season 3, like what happened with season 3. So season 1, you guys made the playoffs. Season 2 wasn't what everyone was expecting. You could say it was an up and down year for WizDG. Crunch the math, getting the number 1 overall draft pick going into season 3 wasn't exactly, statistically speaking, a high probability. You guys managed to squeak that one out. And obviously you had the big decision on your plate of who you're going to be taking at number 1. Obviously it's going to be a player that's going to change the way this organization goes forward. You want to have that major impact player because you have no one else to compete with. It is your pick and your pick alone. And you go with JBM, a absolutely talented player, had a lot of hype surrounded by him. And you guys take him and you pair him up with great veteran leadership on WizDG. And there's a lot of hype around this roster coming out of the draft. And, when, we were asked to call the spring 16 games for you guys, you could see the growth in JBM. You could see the growth as a team from game to game to game. And about halfway through the spring 16 term, I remember having a conversation with Joey. I'm like, hey, these guys have a chance. Like, it's not going to take a year. This could be the year they do it if they continue to progress like they've been doing. Like, did you expect to see that same kind of progression in the preseason tournament, and especially through a couple bumps in the road in the first couple of weeks? Like you said, we were trying out different roster spots. Like, what was your expectation coming out of the Spring 16 preseason tournament into week 1?
Yeah, so even before that, I remember before we for the draft, I had said that anything less than anything less than the playoffs would be a failure in my mind. So that's kind of what our goal was, to get back to the playoffs, and then we would take it from there. That Spring 16 tournament, though, the Hornets tournament that they put on, that was kind of a showing that, hey, we might have something here, and these guys can kind of play together. But yeah, I remember that too, guys. I had no expectations coming in, and not all the teams in the league joined the Hornets tournament. They just wanted to put it on, like, hey, we're going to put together a little thing while we wait for the 2K League, because it was in the pandemic time. We didn't know what was going to happen. And I thought it would be a great experience for our guys, especially if they could make a deep run. Obviously we won it, so it was a great experience for us. And then taking that momentum into the season was huge, and I think it was big for their confidence. And then as we progressed through the season, we had different kind of goals and expectations. And once you start checking off the wins in the column every week, it's like, we got a good shot at this playoffs, and maybe beyond that. So if you had to ask me what the turning point in our season was, I would say it was the turn tournament. So this is probably 3 quarters away from our season. We were playing the Utah Jazz, and we were down big. Going in the fourth quarter, it was game 2. We lost game 1, and I can't remember the point. We were down like 15 or something with like 2 minutes left. It was crazy number. Their win percentage was probably like 99% at that point. And I remember Jack saying in the party chat, we're in the Discord chat as a team, he's just like, hey guys, Justin, Ryan, everyone else, you get me stops and I'll get you buckets. And literally we just went on this crazy run and took the game from the Jazz in game 2. And then game 3 wasn't even close. We just, beat the brakes out of them. So that was kind of the turning point. It was a semifinals matchup with the Jazz, and they were like the second team at the time. That was kind of like the moment where everyone kind of rallied around each other. It was like, hey, we can definitely make a deep run.
Yeah, Joey, if you don't mind picking that up real quick, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my camera over here. It's bugging out like mid-show, and like chat's giving me a hard time about it. But yeah, Joey, if you can hop in there real quick.
Absolutely. So Pat, taking that and moving forward, how do you kind of keep that motivation going amongst the team and kind of keeping that camaraderie going as you continue to move forward through the rest of the season, trying to keep that motivation up at a high level heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, so last year was difficult for a lot of teams, just because of the pandemic, and we took like a 2-3 week hiatus at the start of the year because we didn't know what was going to happen. Obviously, once we decided we had to move everything, indoors into our apartments, so we had to bring all the computers to the guys' apartments, and they would play from there. So mentally, there were times when the guys were probably not the strongest, because sitting in your apartment all day, 8 to 12 hours playing a video game, and you really can't go outside, because we weren't letting them go outside other than to get food from the lobby if they were ordering it, just because of everything going on. So I think it kind of speaks to their mental aptitude that they were able to get through all of that, because every team had to go through that, even us. And, that moment with the Jazz kind of brought our team together. And, I had said multiple times, we have a great thing here that we're achieving. 20, 30 years from now, when we have our reunion, let's talk about how we won the championship. Let's not talk about, shoulda, woulda, coulda, what we coulda did. Let's actually go out and do it. So I think the guys really responded to that, and, just speaks for itself with the trophy in hand.
Absolutely. John, I see you're back. Is the camera back in order over there?
So it looks like the power source wasn't actually all the way plugged into the camera. So yeah, it was kind of recycling when it was short-circuiting on the power there. So my apologies for the shoddy camera work on my end.
You gotta watch the chat, man. They're getting toxic on you. They don't want you.
That is T-Spans is essentially what that is. No, so that's all good. So I believe you mentioned it, with the season having been remote this year, the amount of equipment that the NBA 2K League sent all the teams to help produce, and again, it was from a production standpoint, that had to be a challenge on their end too. There were a lot of hiccups, a lot of connection issues throughout the entire season. Did ping play a role in some matchups? If you're a gamer, you know the answer to that. So just walk me through like what that process was. Not only did you have to change everything for this season, you're not traveling to New York to a studio anymore. You were staying home, and now you have all this equipment being set up in multiple locations for safety purposes during COVID. What was that whole process like? Kind of just putting the brakes on everything and going completely remote.
Well, I would absolutely hate game days. Game days would suck for me. Not because I didn't want to play the game, but literally, we had this, I don't even know what you call it. It's this couple of big machines that, they hook up to the computer, to the monitor, and basically broadcast the system to wherever the, 2K League headquarters is. So, and there was always an issue with the machine. When our testing, they would never have audio, wouldn't have video, and it was just a pain trying to get that together. So that was like my job for 2 hours on game day every week, just trying to figure out how to run this thing. So, I can put production manager on my resume now because, I had to go through all that. But other than that, we can't complain too much because, this is the first year we've been on ESPN, which is an amazing experience for us, amazing experience for the league. I have people at home, texting my parents, hey, is this your son's team on ESPN? And they're like, yeah. So you're getting a whole new group of sports fans involved and wanting to watch us. So, it was a tough challenge the 2K League had to put on this production, and I think they did the best they could, and they kind of killed it.
Yeah, and just that impact, so to try to find a silver lining in the horrible story that is the ongoing pandemic, but what a great opportunity for esports to really rise to the occasion, because we didn't have the NBA, we didn't have the NHL, we didn't have our traditional sports outlets. So, we're locked inside. We can't go anywhere. We can't go to concerts. We can't go to games. We can't go to anywhere. Joey and I like to reminisce that the weekend before the lockdown started, he and I were both at the Washington or the DC Defenders XFL game at Audi Field. And then on Monday, it was, you can't go out and see people and hang out anymore. Like, it was like a switch, and all of a sudden it was like, what do we do? And then here's esports with a great opportunity. And, ESPN has dabbled in esports, broadcasting it on their main network. Mainly it's been on ESPN News and ESPN2. But they really dove in and said, hey, this is something we can do. And it wasn't just ESPN. It was a lot of other local markets as well. You take a look at, same in-house for you, we'll keep it with MSC. You take a look at the Washington Capitals. They started doing simulated games. The other group with MSC on the esports side, Caps Gaming, they held an event with the great one, Wayne Gretzky, and that just absolutely took off. And like esports emerged as that source of entertainment. So, that had to be great for something like the NBA 2K League to have that crossover ability to say, hey, look, it may not be physical in-person basketball, but this is the next best thing where you can see people play a game that a lot of people can understand, play at a high level, and provide some source of entertainment.
Yeah, no, it was a great experience. And like you said, we had it on MSC, we had it on our channels in DC. We were able to broadcast it. So, even getting new fans in the DC area, I know a couple other teams did the same thing where they could do their RSN and kind of broadcast it through the local area, which we've never had before. So it's just kind of getting your product out there, obviously the 2K League, and getting teams to become a fan of us. It's easy now because we're the champions, and hopefully that brought a lot of fans in. But it's just kind of interesting to see. I know it's a pandemic, and there are a lot of things in 2020 that aren't good at all, and hopefully it ends soon. But for the 2K League and esports in general, being able to have their seasons, the professional seasons, is, still a big plus that they can even go through this in a pandemic.
So now that we look ahead to the next season, Pat, or to 2021, and we know we've already talked a little bit about the draft, and we know you might have 1 to 2 new players coming in. Now that you've won the title, how do you motivate the guys who are coming back to continue forward? Is it that defense of the title type of motivation? Is it something else that's going to be internal within the group itself? How do you keep them charged and ready heading into a new season after winning the championship this year?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how I want to keep the spirit of the team, so to say. Just taking a look at the previous 2K League teams, and every team that's won a championship has never made the playoffs the season after. So we'll still have that kind of motivation that I'll tell the guys about. I'm trying to do a lot of research right now into like what makes a team successful back to back, or even a team that's able to win multiple championships. Like what sets them apart from a one-hit wonder. And there are some answers. Obviously, I think keeping their core together is one of the main ones. So, okay, we got 4 out of 6 guys right now. That's a good spot for us. We'll be able to get the rest of the guys back. I don't know. If we do, then I think we're in a great spot. If we're not, then obviously we're going to have to do our homework and kind of find guys that are going to have that championship mindset and hunger that can come into the group and kind of fit in, like everyone did last year, because not many guys played together last year when we put the team together, and they kind of came around each other, and for the better of the group, they really did come together as a team. So there's a couple of things I'm trying to research and wording, and how I kind of want to, do you want to defend the title? Do you want to forget about the title and just move on to the next one? What's the best way to do that? So I don't have an answer for you just yet, but when the season starts, I'll know the answer by then.
Okay, so just to touch on the offseason again right now. So obviously you have the 4 retained players now coming back for next season. Let's take a look at the league as a whole real quick. Some of these trades that have come out in the past week have been absolutely nutty. Yeah. Obviously it's shaking up the landscape, it's shaking up rosters, it's going to be shaking up chemistry, and there's a good chance that teams that were not so hot now have a chance to actually be competitive, or possibly have that team take that next step. Has there been any trade that's kind of caught your attention in the NBA 2K League so far that's been like, oh, well, that's going to change some things when we go up against this team?
Yeah, I don't want to give too many teams ammo on us.
That's fair.
You guys are setting me up. But no, I think this happens every year after the season. Teams are trying to wheel and deal. They're trying to get better. They're trying to overthink themselves, or maybe underthink themselves. So, I can't speak on why the trades went through. Some people they think they're one piece missing from the championship, and if that's what they think, then so be it. But we'll just try to keep our core intact and get our guys back, and then we'll go from there. But some of the trades I've known for a while. They've kind of been set in stone, and then they finally get announced, and I don't want to see the reactions of the fans and what they think. That's the most interesting thing for me, just seeing those. But we won the championship, so I don't think there's any kind of crazy moves that you'll be seeing from us. But we'll just have to wait and see, right?
Yeah, I think that you definitely hit on that. Like, half the fun here is seeing how the community reacts to these trades. And, I'm right there with the community. Like, obviously, like you just said, you had some idea that some of these trades were going to happen. But for those of us that don't have that inside information, like when we saw some of these trades, I was just like, oh, that was massive. Like, one that stands out to me was the 3-team trade, the first in 2K League history, I believe, between Blazer 5, Nets, GC, and Grizz Gaming, if I'm not mistaken, where that boy Shots goes to the Nets. Blazer 5 received randoms, Goofy, and Joel. Yep. And there was a whole bunch of picks that got swapped around also. But just that was a trade that, like, I felt like really shook the community. It was like, wow, this is like these trades are becoming as complex as we see in the real NBA and the NFL and NHL and everything else. Like, these trades are for real.
Yeah, no, the first 3-team trade in 2K League history, that one surprised me. But even so, like, when you look at these trades, I try not to judge them right now, because it's easy to judge them right now and be like, oh, that's a bad one. But if you just wait a year, then you'll really be able to see. And some trades happen like that. Even in the NBA, you're like, that's a bad trade. It happens, and then it's actually a good thing for that team that you thought was going to be a bad thing. So it's very easy to say, oh, that's going to be good or bad now. But if you just wait a year, that's the judgment of time, and you'll be able to tell.
All right, so you got to do something very interesting. Like, not only are you making history for WizDG in the NBA 2K League, but you're also making national team history as well, as we see USA basketball dive into the esports realm. Also, you had a really awesome position here where you got to be on the panel that essentially you were the Simon Cowell of talent for the NBA basketball gaming team.
I'm more Randy Jackson kind of guy.
You're more of a, I'm sorry, dog. It's just not going to happen. Not for me. Not for me. That's a no from me. So, obviously the FIBA Esports Open, is something they're very interested in. I highly applaud Joey. I think we shared the sentiment here. Applaud USA Basketball for diving into esports. We'd love to see established organizations that have a foothold, not just in the traditional sports realm, but with a great marketing background, with a great sponsorship background, that has the resources that esports needs to really take it to the next level. Take that dive into esports. So I'm just kind of curious, when did they actually approach you with this idea, and how awesome does it feel to be a part of essentially picking what could be the first Dream Team roster for USA Basketball?
Well, it's a high standard to live up to. USA Basketball. I mean, that's the best of the best. One of the best basketball organizations in the world. They approached me probably not too long after the season ended and we won the championship. I said like maybe a month later. They came to us and they were, we have this thing. The first FIBA Esports Open was in the summer. I think it was June or July. We were in season, but they didn't have a North America region yet. So, I had watched a little bit of it, but it was also during our, heavy part of the season. So I didn't get to really dive in the other countries, around the world. But they approached me and they were like, hey, you want to be on the selection panel? You'll be one of, 5 on the selection panel to pick the players. We're going to have a tryout day. It was 2 days in November, a couple weeks ago. Wasn't broadcasted to, the world. It was just for really the selection panel to watch. And we invited the top 30 2K players, from the 2K League and some not in the 2K League, split up the teams. And we really wanted to base it on how they perform in those 2 days. So, we got to watch basketball from like 12 to 8 Saturday and Sunday. And, it's just such a unique experience, and being able to have USA Basketball become involved. They want to put together a team. They want to put together the best team. I do think, the best talent is in North America for NBA 2K. So that's good for us. And, some of those games, I mean, I would say it's probably like watching the Dream Team practice. Like, there's just 2 teams going at it from such high level basketball. And, just an honor to represent your country, to even be involved, and that they would even ask me. So sometimes I still wake up and I have to pinch myself and say, is this a real thing? But, they'll be competing in the FIBA Esports Open December, I want to say 19th and 20th. I think they're playing against like Canada. Canada's got a good team. Puerto Rico, Guatemala. I think Honduras. And I feel like there's one other one, Dominican Republic. And I think that's it. But basically, you play in your region, and you win your region. You're the winner of the region. I think eventually they want to get to like maybe a World Cup event, so where you win your region, and then you could travel. But with the pandemic, I don't see that being the future for a little bit until this all clears up. But such a cool thing for esports to happen, to be able to travel against other countries and play against their teams.
All right, so I just have one more follow-up. I just want to let everyone know in the chat room real quick. We are about to open it up for Q&A. If you do have a question for head coach Pat Crossan of WizDG, feel free to put it in there. Please make it appropriate. No weird questions. We will filter out ones that are bad. So if you want to go ahead and do that, we did get some through
Am I
social
getting myself set up in?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm
We'll
just
make sure you're good. We won't talk about anything too bad. So just real quick. So we're coming full circle again. JBM, he makes the roster.
Yep.
He makes the roster for USA Basketball Gaming. And you know, what a first year for this kid. You know, number 1 overall draft pick, wins the NBA 2K League championship, and now he's going on to represent his country on the international level. Like, he's 19, right? He's a kid. Like, in comparison to everyone else, like the man can't even have a celebratory beer yet. And he's on the international stage. What does that say about someone of his age to be able to handle the pressure of being a number 1 overall pick, then being able to grow as a player, to go on to win the tournament, to win the entire league, and now taking that next step? Like, it almost, you know, I'm not trying to say he is, but it feels like a story, like a Michael Jordan or like a Kobe, where you see them come up and they do big things early in their career, and then boom, they're on the international stage. Like, that is very impressive.
Yeah, well, you know, Jon and Joey, I think it means we made the right choice, right? That's the most important one. We made the right choice. But yeah, no, Jack's had a heck of a year, you know, being a number 1 pick, 2K League champion, Team USA basketball. I mean, if you could watch those games, he really hooped, you know, during the process. You know, fortunately, I can't speak too much on the process and what it was, but you know, I definitely did not think he would play as well. It's me to say, but I didn't think he would play at that level. But he absolutely, you know, blew the brakes off, and you know, it's definitely deserving of the spot. All 7 of those players are, and you know, now it's just about keeping him hungry for the next championship,
which may be coming in season 4. Who knows? We're not going to say anything.
Knock on wood for me. Yeah.
Knock on that. There we go. So, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and open up to questions. We may ask some of the funnier ones in here. So first one is gonna come from Twitter. Some random guy. I don't think I've ever heard of this guy's name before. Jordan Zelnicker. I've never.
Nobody to me.
Jordan wants to know why you can't stop a puck in net during NHL 21 when you guys play. I don't know. First off, playing goalie in any kind of sports simulation game is difficult to begin with. But let's be real here. Like, I feel like there's a very solid answer you can give on this one.
Yeah. Why would you need to stop a puck if, you know, your forward could score all game?
That's
a question back to a question, I guess. But
it is. And also, Jordan, last time I checked, that man just got a ring. Ring. He's focused on 2K League. So
we are focused on 2K League. I like to consider myself 3-sport athlete: FIFA, NBA, NHL.
Very, very interesting. Panicking Pat, of course. Why are you scared? No, why are you scared to play Pat in FIFA? He wants you to stop ducking.
Oh my gosh, I am not good at FIFA. It's one of those games, like, you love to hate it, you hate to love it. Doesn't matter. Like, you play it, and you just gonna get pissed off. So I'm just not very good at all. You could give me a team of all 99s, and I'd still find a way to shank the ball off the goalpost every time.
I mean, if I recall, Pat, I'm pretty sure you and I took Pat and John down in 2s in some Volta.
You know what? We did. Yes, that was. How long was that?
That was
pre-quarantine.
Yeah, that was. I believe that was after last year's Caps gaming event.
So probably like February time frame.
Yeah, like that was literally right before quarantine. So it's been a minute. We've got to. Well,
yeah, we did spank the FIFA Pro, so you know it's all good.
Well, it's okay because, you know, Pat changes his mind whether he wants to play FIFA 21 or if he wants to be mad at EA on like a 6-hour basis. He changes his
love-hate relationship. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's EA. Who doesn't have a love-hate relationship with EA?
If you're winning, it's good. If you're losing, that it's the worst thing in the world.
There you go. I forget, who do you play with in FIFA?
So I just play Ultimate Team.
Just Ultimate Team?
Yeah, I just play Ultimate Team. I do support Chelsea fan. So gonna throw that out there. Other than that, yeah, I just play Ultimate Team pretty much.
Well, we'll go ahead and let that one slide. D-Rod, the intellectual question here. If you could eat dinner with one person, who would it be and why that person? That's in depth.
That's a tough one because, how many people are there in the world?
Just one.
Billions of people. I guess I just got to pick one at this point. One person.
If you're stuck between two, we'll go ahead and open the door for two. It could be, obviously socially distanced.
Is this alive or passed away? Anyone in the world.
Anyone. Alive, passed away.
I feel like it would be very, very interesting to meet a president. So I'll say Teddy Roosevelt.
Everyone's favorite racing president at the Washington Nationals. I'm just going to throw it out there as a season ticket holder.
That's one of the reasons.
And
it would just be cool to sit down with the president because they make some of the highest pressure decisions in the world, and just to kind of get their reasoning for that and get their kind of mindset on some of those things. I feel like it would help out a lot of people in high pressure situations, being able to make better decisions. But I'd love to have dinner with good old Teddy.
Okay, Pat. So what if we do restrict you here and say it has to be still alive?
It has to be alive? Oh, man. Be alive.
No pressure.
It's a lot of pressure, guys. I don't know. Who would you guys say? I have to pass this back to you for a second.
You go ahead, John. It feels like you're ready.
Oh no, I am waiting for you, sir, of course.
I have no idea either. I was not expecting that deflection.
D-Rod.
I actually got my answer when you guys were thinking about
D-Rod says Kevin Durant, obviously, because, KD. Obviously a DMV local also. But Pat, okay, you've narrowed it down to one person. Who would it be?
Yes. One of my favorite athletes growing up, Chase Utley.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I can respect him.
I played baseball, and I always wanted to be Chase Utley, so I love second base. Got to see them win a World Series in 2008. I was in high school. I think it was my second year in high school, and got to skip school and go down to see the parade. So it was one of those experiences of a lifetime. So I love to meet Chase Utley and have dinner with him.
Yeah, I think that's a great choice. I loved him when he left and went to the Dodgers more than anything else. I don't remember 2008. I try to block that out of my mind.
It was a great year. It was a great year. You got your championship, all right. Bryce Harper left. You got your championship. We know.
Pat, we're in trouble now. So the Washington Capitals have joined the chat room, and they want to know if they've missed the NHL goalie question. So I just so we can get it on record.
Okay.
For the Capitals, they want to know why you can't stop a puck in NHL 21.
My rebuke back was, why do you need to stop a puck when your forward could score every goal? So
there you go. So
question.
Really, it's a compliment. It's a compliment to how skilled your forwards are.
I guess.
Boom. Look at that.
If they were a little bit more skilled, though, I wouldn't need to stop all the pucks, though.
Well, there you go. Look, that answer, in all honesty, deserves a TJ Oshie jersey chug. But we're not going to do that on stream. We're not going to. They say
That's
not a good
party.
answer. The Capitals are absolutely flaming you in chat right now, Pat. I don't know
all right.
about that.
We're tied with rings, so it's all good.
That's a valid point. That's a very valid point.
Yes.
So we joked about it a little bit off air before we brought you on. Obviously, for a lot of gamers around the world, today's a big day. I myself have plans after the show as well to be doing this. And of course, I'm talking about the Shadowlands expansion for World of Warcraft. You yourself play World of Warcraft, but you were able to break the addiction, Pat. What's your secret? I need help.
What's my secret? Usually, I played World of Warcraft as a kid growing up, some into high school. And I think breaking the addiction, you need to fill it with another addiction. It's probably what you need. So I filled it with 2K at the time. So
good choice.
Kind of moved video games. But yeah, another addiction is broken by another addiction. That's kind of what I've been told, and it's worked for me so far.
I don't know if we can support breaking an addiction with another addiction here on LvLUp Live, but Well, we'll go ahead and let that one slide here a little bit. I have to ask, Horde or Alliance?
I mean, I played both, but if I had to pick, I like the Horde a little bit better.
See, look, when we asked Grant that question when he first came on LvLUp,
Oh, geez. What did he say?
he kind of poo-pooed it a little bit. He kind of went back and forth. He didn't want to pick one side, and then he finally admitted he is on the Alliance. And I kind of lost a little respect for him as someone who likes the Horde also. Again, this was all pre-Battle for Azeroth when they decided to burn down the Night Elves, home and everything. So it was a very bad time.
It's like Grant didn't want to piss off either one. He just wanted to be neutral.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love everybody.
Of course. It was a good answer. He gave a valid reason because he was in the whole raiding scene and competitive WoW. And at that time, Alliance was definitely where it was at. So definitely.
He gets a pass this time, I guess.
Well, we'll let it slide for now, I guess. When did you know you wanted to be involved in 2K? Obviously, you were involved in the 2K scene before the league was announced. What kind of gave you that motivation to do something unique like being in the 2K scene and then wanting to make that jump in season 1, obviously with WizDG, but make that jump into uncharted territory, essentially, for the 2K league? Like, what was that conversation like with your friends, with family saying, hey, I'm going to go and work in video games for a gigantic company called Monumental Sports and Entertainment? Like, what was that decision like for you?
Oh man, it was an interesting decision. So, I played it competitively in tournaments and leagues before the 2K League was announced, and NBA 2K, Take-Two, the publishers of the video game NBA 2K, held a couple $250,000 tournaments you could play with your buddies and hopefully win the cash prize. So competed in that, and obviously didn't win $250,000, but it worked out in the end as I got a league spot. So just always loved basketball growing up. Always loved video games. Always played 2K. So it was just kind of that natural motivation to, once they announced the league, it was like, of course I want to be involved. You get to basically run a almost NBA-like team, and you get to draft players and make moves, and you get to come together as a championship team is what everyone hopes for. So it's always been a dream of mine to, kind of be an NBA GM, and I kind of have that same thing with the NBA 2K League, and what I'm doing now. Being able to put together a team, a roster of individuals from all over the U.S., all over the world, and make them all come together for something bigger than themselves. So that's always been an attractive selling point for me, and it's the best job in the world. I can't complain at all. I wake up every day, and it's really like a dream come true. So it's a lot of love, and hey, this year we were able to win, and we'll have to do it again next year, I guess, right?
Yeah, I did find it funny. So with the whole championship thing for the 2K League, they actually sent trophies to both teams competing with a code on the lock. So like if you won, then you got the code. Like I kind of feel bad for the other team because like the Warriors have got to be sitting there like it's in that crate right there, and we can't open it. Like,
yeah,
it's got to feel even worse than being there in person almost.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth because in person too, they put the trophy right in the middle of the stage, so you're still staring at it the whole time you're playing. You're just like playing the game, and then you're looking at it. You're like, oh my god, I want that. But yes, they had to send 2 trophies to one to each team because they didn't know who was going to win, and they didn't want one of the teams to be without a trophy if they had won. We didn't show our guys. I didn't even look at the trophy myself because I didn't want to. I think Andrew might have looked at it. He might have checked it out, made sure it was all right. But other than that, I didn't want to see the damn thing until we won it all.
Absolutely, of course. A few more questions here submitted by listeners and viewers here today. I'm going to try, I don't know if it's supposed to be with an easy at the end of it, but I'm going to say Spen Easy or Spenzy. We'll see what it is. Is Pat really 5'2" in person?
It's smart guy Spencer. I'm 5'8", so my license. 5'8". So the license never lies, right?
Of course. You're not 5'2". Like we've seen you in person.
No.
Like that's.
I could even imagine being 5'2".
It's tough. It's tough.
Like 6 inches smaller than my actual height. I mean, how do you live being 5'2"? I don't know.
I don't know. Try being 6'2" or taller, having to duck through doors all the time.
I make the joke. I make the joke to Andrew sometimes. At least I can sleep in a bed when because he's 6'8".
Yeah.
So I could imagine like traveling, going to a hotel and the bed's it's not appropriate size.
For real. So I myself did a little adulting and I got a new bed. It's literally the first bed I've been able to lie on with my feet not hanging off the end of it. And like you said, Andrew's 6'8". I'm only 6'2".
Yeah.
Like he's taller than I am. And like I've struggled keeping my feet on the bed like my entire life, it feels like. And now it feels like a completely different world.
Well, welcome to the real life.
Seriously,
John.
right? It's so weird. Zell86, that username looks familiar. I don't know if this was a typo or not, but I'm going to ask the question the way he typed it in chat. Has Pat secured a PS4 yet?
Yeah, I have I'm looking at it right here. We got a PS4 right here.
So I'm assuming it was a typo and he meant to say PS5.
Yeah, he did. He did it, and no, I've been unsuccessful. I had it at Kohl's. I think they canceled like every order, so I just got to cancel it. Yeah, Kohl's went live this weekend. I must have missed out. I don't think they had a lot, but they like left their thing open for people to get it still. They charged my card, and then they canceled it, just like a lot of other people. So
brutal.
Still without a PS5.
Well, for you and everyone else that's listening, Walmart announced they're going to be doing another release. I believe it's on the 25th or 28th at 9 p.m. Eastern time again. Mm-hmm. I'll have to double check on that date if Joey wants to look that up real quick. But okay, Zell has one more. Zell86 goes, again, we have no clue who this is. Wink. Ask him what the biggest signing of the year was for WizDG. Hint, it was in the business department.
The business department. We got a bunch of good sponsorships. Maybe it was our new sponsors this year. That's probably what he means, right? LvLUp.com. They are our big sponsor. They're on the court, so I got to shout out LvLUp.com there.
And I'm pretty sure Giant helped deliver food also.
Giants delivered us food. In the pandemic, they did too. So, appreciate Giant, Bud Light. They give us beer sometimes, especially when we're in the office.
I have a feeling you need to talk to Bud Light about getting a bigger fridge, because I'm sorry, that one beer limit for me is just not going to cut it. Yeah. So we're coming to the end real quick. I do just want to end on this note. There was a very powerful moment at the end of the 2K League Championship. Obviously, there's a lot going on in our country right now. Aside from the pandemic, there's racial injustice going on, and the Black Lives Matter movement is something that has really been put in the public spotlight for change that is needed in our country and just an end to racism around the world. Dayfry had that moment at the end when WizDG won the championship. He took all that spotlight that was directed to him and directed it to the Black Lives Matter movement by putting on that shirt. And just, that was such a statement. The statement, the reaction from the 2K community, the reaction from the Black Lives Matters community, that was such a powerful moment. And when I was watching that, to say it was moving would be an understatement. It was such an amazing moment. And, I just want to say, as, someone who firmly believes in that movement, in that cause, Black Lives Matter, it's something that we as a country, we as a human race need to focus more at. That was such a powerful moment. And WizDG have really, alongside with everyone at MSC, been really helping push that message here in the DMV community, in the DC, Maryland, Virginia community. Talk to me a little bit, just real quick, as we end the show here. What was that like to be kind of a part of that MSC family that was really taking that message and using that spotlight that MSE, WizDG, and Dayfry had in that moment to put it on such an amazing thing to bring attention to?
Yeah, so we as 2K League players and really the whole community has kind of rallied around that Black Lives Matter point. Obviously, Ryan, had done that. I think it speaks to the level of how he feels and the camaraderie he feels for his teammates and other people in the league as well, and people all over the world who are facing racial injustice. I think it's really just about being a human being and caring for one another since we're all on this earth together. So it was a great moment for him and a great moment for the league to kind of rally around that, and even to go past that a little bit farther back in our season. There's one day where Reese had texted me. I think this was pretty much one of the heights of the the Black Lives Matter protests that were going on. And he had texted me, "Hey, do you think it's okay if I can miss practice?" I think there was a protest going on around DC. I think it was at the Capitol, and he wanted to go. So I said, "All right, well, if you want to text the other players on the team, your teammates, see how they feel, and if they all want to go, then we can all go together." So we canceled practice for that day, and we all went down to the Capitol ourselves, and we just sat there and we joined in the protests, and everyone kind of came together. So I was very happy to see that, and it's one of the things that you want to see in your players, their growth over their time that you spend with them. And I couldn't be happier for those guys and how they stepped up in those situations and showed their support for something bigger than themselves.
Yeah, it was. I remember seeing that on social media. The team joining the protest down on the National Mall. That was, it was great. I'm speechless when it comes to a lot of it, just because it's living in the nation's capital in this area. Protests are something we see on a daily basis, but we don't see big movements for massive social change all that often. And this one definitely long overdue. So it was very great to see the entire WizDG squad go down to the mall to be a part of practicing the First Amendment right, freedom to assemble and protest, freedom of speech, and being taking a part of the freedoms that we have here in the U.S. to voice our concerns in regards to the social injustice. So just a big shout out to you, the team, MSE, everyone, for really helping bring light to, unfortunately, a very troubling time in our society where we try to bring more justice to the forefront to stop that racial injustice that we see here. So I just wanted to pass that on from us to you to spread all around, but yeah, it was just a really powerful moment, and I really wanted to just bring that up here at the end. Joey, do you have anything else you want to toss in here at the end of the show? Any further questions?
I mean, I think it does it for me as well. That just gives us an opportunity to bring Pat on later on in season 4, hopefully, because I feel like I could ask questions for days, to be honest. But you did a great job tonight, Pat. It's always a pleasure for sure.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Anytime you guys want to chat. There was one other thing I had to bring up, and I don't know if you remember, but when I was on the podcast the first time, we had talked about, I think Joey knows where I might be going, but we had talked about championships in DC. And I had said something like, Washington hasn't won a championship since '93 or something like that.
Well, so just to put this out here real quick, that never made the cut. Like that was never.
I know it didn't make the cut, but I still have to bring it up because I think it's funny.
That's fair.
But I had brought up that Washington hasn't won a championship since whatever the Washington football team I think won in the '90s, and I remember Grant going, cut. We can't say that. And,
oh yeah, that was a very
it was my first foray into all this. So it worked out because when I got hired, the Capitals won right after that.
They did.
And then who won after that?
The Nationals.
I think the Valor.
Oh, the Valor too. You're right.
The Valor. You can't forget about Arena Football League.
Then the Mystics and Nationals did it the year next.
Nationals, and then when we get to the championship, I'm literally telling myself, I'm like, we can't be the ones to lose. Like I don't want that on my conscience. We can't be the ones to break this curse and that we lose the championship. So I'm glad that we could win the championship, keep the tradition going in DC, and now it's on the other teams to get a championship. It's not on us anymore.
DC truly is the District of Champions, and WizDG now joins the ranks of the Nationals, the Mystics, the Valor, the Caps. I mean, it has just been an absolutely massive time. Like, it's been, if you're a sports fan in the DC area, you have to be loving life right now. It's been fantastic. So Pat, again, thank you so much for joining us, guys. If you're not doing so already, make sure you are following Pat Crossan on social media, the PCross11 on Twitter and PCross11 on Instagram. And am I missing anything else there for you for personal socials?
I think that's it. Just those two are really the only ones I use.
And then WizDG, the Season 3 defending champions. If you are not following them, you're doing yourself a disservice. Champions follow champions. So make sure you follow WizDG at WizardsDG. That's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well. So, Pat, we're going to go ahead and do a little outro here real quick. You're welcome to hang out. It's going to be about like 30 seconds. It's going to be a little spiel here and there. Now, we offered this to our last guest also. He decided to opt out of it. At the end, we like to say level up together because, it's just a positive message we like to close out at the end of the show. But we try to say it together and it never works. So at the end it goes, be nice to your fellow gamers online. And as always, awkward pause. And then we all just try to guess when we're going to say level up together. There's really no way of timing it yours. So
you do it right after, or I feel like Joey does like a 30-second count. He just waits for you guys.
I do like a little point here and there. Josh was close. I feel like it was a valiant effort. But
yeah, I'm down to do it though.
All right,
definitely down.
All right, we will definitely.
Wait, what was the end of the sentence? I gotta remember that part.
Oh, hold on a second. I think Joey went frozen robot.
It's tough to align for sure.
There we go. I think. Yep. Okay. So it's so I do a spiel, Joey does a spiel, then I do a spiel. Then it says be nice to your fellow gamers online, and as always, and then I stop talking and I awkwardly look into the camera, and then we just say level up, and then it's all in from there. All right. So there is no practice run. We're gonna do it live, and whatever happens, happens. That's part of the fun of live shows. It's
doing it live.
We're doing it live. Absolutely. Nation, it is a live ending. We'll see how this goes. But unfortunately, that will do it for today's episode of LvLUp Live. But before you go, head on over to patreon.com/OTN and consider becoming a part of the Overtime Network. In return, you will get access to exclusive content that nobody else in the world can get unless they are a part of OTN Media. If you haven't already done so, make sure you follow the show here on Twitch. To catch the next episode of LvLUp Live, if you listen to the show on our podcast feed, leave us a review. The LvLUp Podcast is available on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. We would love to hear from you. In fact, we love to hear from our community so much, we have other ways for you to reach out to us. Joey, what are those ways?
LvLUp Nation, head on over to Twitter and find us at LvLUp Live. That is LvLUp Live. In addition to that, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at OTN Media. On Instagram, there's a little bit of an underscore in there. It's at OTN_media. Last but not least, hit us with a follow, maybe even a Twitch Prime sub as well on Twitch, twitch.tv/OTN Media.
All right, Joey. So I'm assuming we're not doing a show on Thanksgiving. We're just going to pick it back up next Monday, right? Sounds good. So, Nation, you heard it here live. Make sure you tune in next Monday. That is November 30th, as we cover the latest and greatest in gaming and esports news. Do your ears and eyes a favor. Hit that follow button here on Twitch or on your favorite podcatcher of choice to know when the next episode of LvLUp Live is ready for your listening pleasures. We will catch you all on Monday. Have a great week and weekend. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Be nice to your fellow gamers online. And are we ready, guys? As always,
level up.
Close enough.
Back to you.